in the theater, and I'm like, what? Hi, I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director at Overshadowed Theatrical Productions. Welcome to this week's episode From the Wings with Rebecca Leland.
Hey, Reba.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. We just celebrated Valentine's Day last week.
Yeah, it was so fun.
What did you do?
Well, I took my husband on a date.
Okay, cute.
And the reason I took him, my husband has always loved Dana Delaney. Do you know who she is?
Okay, no.
So she is before your time.
Okay, good.
She got her start, I believe, in China Beach, and then she went on and she was in Desperate Housewives, and then went on to be a coroner in Body of Proof. By the time you see this video, it's not playing downtown anymore, but I will tell you that she plans to take it to Broadway, and
wow.
I very much think that it'll probably go.
Wow.
It probably will travel in other places around the country too, so I think that you should try to kind of watch for it and give it a little follow. It was fascinating.
Really? So
Yes.
what was like the general synopsis?
I was trying to figure out if it hadn't been a true story, if I would still be as fascinated or if I would be a little bored. So the premise is, this is during her time that she was in the show Body of Proof. So first of all, she's on the stage from the moment we walk in the theater.
Okay.
And she's sitting and she has a big board screen, white screen next to her, and people from the audience are tweeting her. And so
Live?
Yes. And so she's answering them and she's retweeting things. And so there's a huge Twitter connection going on. So she's sitting there, we're watching her, and my husband's like, I can't believe I'm 35 feet away from Dana Delaney.
She is playing herself.
Oh, yes. She's playing herself, which is also fascinating.
Yep.
So she's getting ready to go on set for Body of Proof, and one of her dear friends calls her and says, look, I have made a connection with this family. There's a little boy. He's 13 years old. His name is Cam, and he's had 2 heart transplants already, and he is rejecting his heart. He's a huge fan of yours, and I'm wondering if you would just write him an email for me, because I just think it would mean so much to him if you did that. They just developed this really good friendship, and they're showing us the texts and everything that have happened between them. And she's single, she's not dating anybody, and he asks her why, and she says, you know what, my job has always been super important to me, and I just feel like I don't have time in my life to commit to another relationship, and I've just never wanted to have kids. And he's like, well, am I bothering you? And she's like, no, this is really nice to just kind of have this friendship with you. So after a while, you're kind of going along and you're thinking, okay, if I'm watching another 2 hours of this is going to get a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Okay. The foster mom or the grandmother of the boy, and she comes in and she's like, hey, I just want to interject myself and tell you how thankful I am that
in these emails,
how thankful I am that you have reached out to him, and we don't know how much longer we're going to have him, and it just means so much to us that the fact that you were willing to take time out of your busy schedule to be kind to him and put a smile on his face. So she's like, oh, that's really great. And she goes, now I'm going to erase that now on my end. I don't want him to know that I popped on here, blah, blah, blah. So now you're moving along with the story and you're starting to get really connected to, I don't want this boy to die. And every time another date flashes up on the screen, like oh, no. It's December 17th, and you're like, oh no, please don't make him die on Christmas Day. It's like, what are you doing?
Yes.
And so, because you know that the story has to go somewhere,
right.
Because why would she write it if it didn't do this? So I'm going to say right now that if you don't want a spoiler because you feel like, I really want to enjoy this story, and this is something I'm going to say.
Click ahead to this timestamp, and then you won't have to hear the spoiler. But if you're like me,
and you want to know,
it's like, tell me everything.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. So anyway, we get to 2 minutes before intermission, and the grandmother emails Dana Delaney and says, we are sad to say that Cam is not doing well. He's in intensive care. He can't have any visitors. we don't know how much longer we can have him, so we need to pray for a miracle. And Dana Delaney has just gone on break for Christmas. And so she says, I'm going to buy a ticket to Costa Rica. I'm going to bring my sister. We're going to come down. We're going to meet Cam. And the grandmother is like, oh, no, he can't have any visitors. You cannot do that. So Dana's drinking her wine, and she's sitting over here, and she says, I guess I'm not going to Costa Rica. And the grandmother walks into the intensive care room, takes off her wig, and you see that you're not really quite sure whether she is just a different woman or a man. And she lays in bed next to the little boy, unplugs his breathing tube, and starts saying the lines that Cam had been saying to...
Ew! I hate that! Oh, I literally have goosebumps.
So I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, what? And I turned around to my husband and he's like, what just happened? And I'm like, I think I know what happened. And I don't like it. And so I'm like literally like scrolling to see on all the reviews if I can find anything about, did I figure this out the right way? Because this is heartbreaking to me, right? Second act starts and she plugs his breathing tube back in and, life goes on. And so the reason it's named Highway Patrol is because this alter ego works at the Highway Patrol.
Okay.
And you figure out that she knows so much about Dana Delaney because she's got this database for the Highway Patrol. And so she can find all this information out about her. The story progresses and you realize that Dana has been taken and there is no little boy.
Oh.
So when you ask me if it's a thriller, and the reviews online, people say, is it a thriller?
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
Because of how far the stalking goes.
Yeah.
But it so very well could have been.
If this does go traveling, it's going to have to take a very unique actress because it kind of sounds like a boring plot.
Yep.
Like I'm going to read tweets to you that keep you somehow on the edge of your seat. But it also sounds like she wrote it so well to where you second guessed if you were there for a good reason. So then whenever the big thing happened after Act 1, you were like, oh, whoa, I'm in.
Yeah. Wow. And I do think she could rewrite it so that you didn't have to be Dana. Because obviously only one Dana can play it.
Yes.
But it would take a really special little boy and a really special woman to make the story happen in a way that would be enchanting for you. So it'll be interesting to see if she wrote a part for her and that she's just going to get to play it for years and years and years because you're not going to age out of it. Right. She's always going to be Dana. Her. As far as a trigger warning goes, there was a couple of conversations that he had that were kind of inappropriate. I think that didn't need to be there. And then once the big thing is revealed, she has a string of expletives that because she's not happy with herself, and so she's like blank, 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 blank. But other than that, I felt like it was, fairly clean. But those two moments were fairly big. A huge takeaway that I got is to please remember that when you're watching people online, whether it's a movie star, whether I'm text messaging you, whether the personas that we are here on From the Wings, there's an element of truth to who we are, but you really don't know the real us unless you're spending time with us. And I think that that's something for us to always remember. I give it an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to see if it makes it to Broadway.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to go see whenever we go to Broadway, every year as we grow for the From the Wings channel.
When we go back again, if it's playing, we need to go see it so that you can, now that you know what happened, to see if it would be any different.
Yeah, and it's funny because even after you telling me the spoiler, I still 100% would want to see it. Like, that sounds so intriguing.
Yeah. So, until next time, this is just me.
And me.
Talking to you.
From the Wings.